During a stormy night, a body is spotted floating in the waves, with a light flashing from it. A fishing boat approaches, and a group of Italian fishermen is playing cards under the decks. One of the men throws some scraps overboard and discovers the body out at sea. 5 of the fishermen then drag the man onto their ship, assuming him to be dead, but then see him move. They carry him down to their card table and lay him flat, while the ship's doctor gets his tools. The doctor removes his wetsuit with a scalpel, revealing 2 bullet holes in the man's back. The bullets are removed, and the doctor observes a scar on the man's hip, which he cuts into to reveal a little metal gadget. As he investigates it, he discovers that it showed an account number for a Zurich bank, just before being attacked by the man who has recovered consciousness. The man asks about what is going on, and the doctor introduces himself as Giancarlo, stating that he is with friends and wants to rest. The man admits that he is unable to remember his own name and passes out. Daniel Zorn enters Alexander Conklin's office at the CIA and informs him that the mission has been confirmed to have failed. Conklin stares at a photo of a luxurious yacht on his desk. Back on the fishing boat, Bourne assists the fisherman as he recovers from his injuries and tries to remember his identity. After 2 weeks on the boat, Giancarlo approaches him, and Bourne assures him he can tie knots and speak multiple languages, but nothing comes back. Giancarlo encourages him to rest, since it will come back. The next day, the fishing boat arrives in Oneglia. Giancarlo gives Bourne enough money to travel to Switzerland, and he thanks him. He takes the train to Zurich and sleeps on a park bench in the snow. 2 police officers approach Bourne and ask for identification. When he is unable to give any, they begin to arrest him, but Bourne responds by disarming them and rendering them unconscious. He departs the scene, leaving behind both his characteristic orange jacket and the policeman's gun. Back at CIA headquarters, personnel are watching video of Nikwana Wombosi telling a camera that someone had attempted to kill him. A CIA official states that the footage was taken in Paris 2 days ago, and that Wombosi is an issue since he is writing a book about the agency that will include names. Wombosi wants the CIA to put him back in power in 6 months. The official then reveals that the director wishes to know if anyone from the CIA was involved in Wombosi's assassination attempt. Deputy Director Ward Abbott exits the room and meets with Alexander Conklin. Abbott discusses Treadstone and inquires as to whether it was engaged in the attempted assassination of Wombosi. Conklin claims that they lost contact with their assassin, but have been looking for him for the past 2 weeks. The following morning, Bourne enters the bank. He requests access to his account and gives the number from the device on his hip. He takes an elevator to a high-security vault and is instructed to scan his handprint into a machine. A safe deposit box is given to him, and he opens it to find a passport that has his name, Jason Bourne, and a home address in Paris. Bourne then lifts the top layer of the box, revealing numerous more passports with his photo, under different names, huge amounts of various currencies, and a 9mm Sig Sauer SP 2009 handgun. He empties the contents of the box into a red bag while leaving the gun in the box and returning it. Before leaving, he inquires as to how long it has been since his last visit, and is informed that it has been approximately 3 weeks. A man watches him leave and then picks up the phone to make a call. Bourne then uses a payphone to call home in Paris. When he hears his own voice on a recorded answer phone message, he hangs up and crosses the street to avoid the cops. As he walks down a snow-covered road, Bourne observes a couple of police officers observing him from across the street. He quickens his speed and dashes in front of a tram, only to look back and see them following him. He arrives at the U.S. consulate and stands in line when he notices a young woman applying for a visa. When American and Swiss officials try to capture him at the U.S. consulate, he promises Marie Helena Kreutz, a young woman in dire need of money, $20,000 to transport him to Paris. The city with an address appears on his Jason Bourne passport. Meanwhile, Alexander Conklin, the head of the CIA's Black Ops Unit Operation Treadstone, tells Deputy Director Abbott that he will delete any evidence linking them to the field agent, Jason Bourne, responsible for the failed assassination attempt on Wombosi. He sends 3 assets to eliminate their fellow operative, Castell, Mannheim, and the professor. When Bourne arrives at the address shown on his passport, the building supervisor recognizes him right away, and based on the contents of his apartment, he believes he works in the shipping industry. In search of fresh leads, he presses redial on his phone and is connected to the Hotel Regina, which recognizes one of his identities from another passport, John Michael Caine. They inform him that Caine was a guest who died in a car crash 2 weeks before. As Bourne thinks about this, Castell breaks through a window and attacks him in hand-to-hand combat. After subduing him, Bourne attempts to question him, but Castell jumps out the window, preferring death to interrogation by Bourne for information. Marie discovers wanted posters in Castell's suitcase, showing both her and Bourne's faces. Bourne repeatedly tells Marie to leave him as he tries to figure out who he is and why everyone is after him. He tells her to go to the police and explain everything to them, but she stays with him and urges him to figure it out with her help. After evading the Paris police and spending the night in hiding, they arrive at the Hotel Regina. Marie inquires about John Michael Caine hotel records. Meanwhile, Conklin hides a body in the Parisian morgue to trick Wombosi into believing Caine, his attempted assassin, has died. However, Wombosi learns that the body is not his assailant, and Conklin has Wombosi killed in his home by the agent known as the Professor. Bourne examines the incident, the earlier assassination attempt, and John Michael Caine's contacts, eventually concluding that he is the unsuccessful killer. He and Marie flee the city for the country, staying at the house of Eamon, Marie's old friend, where Jason realizes he no longer wants to be who he was. In the morning, the professor arrives to murder Jason. Bourne uses a double-barreled shotgun to detonate a propane tank, distracting the professor, who is on a mountaintop overlooking the house, armed with a SIG 550 sniper rifle, as he flees to the woods. Bourne eventually shoots the professor twice with the shotgun and briefly interrogates him, revealing their shared link to Operation Treadstone. The professor dies very quickly of blood loss after stating, "Look at us. Take a look at what they make you give." Bourne keeps $30,000 and sends Marie Go with the remaining money for her own safety. He uses the professor's cell phone to arrange a rendezvous with Conklin on the Pont Neuf, which he uses as a distraction to put a tracking device on Conklin's vehicle in order to locate Operation Treadstone's safe house in Paris. After tracking the vehicle to the safe house, Bourne uses an electronic device to set off the car alarms of all the cars parked on the street, and while the noise distracts the guards, he sneaks into the operation's safe house, where Nicky Parsons and Conklin are. When he encounters Conklin, holding him at gunpoint, he finally remembers his previous mission. He had withdrawn from the unofficially sanctioned Wombosi assassination after seeing Wombosi's children, unable to control his emotions. Wombosi then shot Bourne while he was abandoning the fast-moving boat, leaving him for dead in the water. Following this flashback, he informs Conklin that he is leaving Treadstone permanently and advises him not to attempt to pursue him. He then understands Conklin has secretly activated an alarm and that backup is on the way. Bourne leaves Nicky unharmed after a shootout with numerous CIA agents, then flees into the night. Abbott, having determined that Treadstone should be closed down permanently, orders the last operative, Mannheim, to kill Conklin with a silencer. Abbott then appears before an oversight committee and dismisses Treadstone as an ineffective assassin training program, before immediately shifting the focus of the hearing to an idea for a new project codenamed Blackbriar, which is not addressed until the third film in the series, The Bourne Ultimatum. Jason later finds Marie in Mykonos, where she rents out scooters to tourists, and the two reunite as the film concludes.